Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí late night broadcast on Koikimedia. Let's see how far we can. Good morning and good evening. Ká tó wo lára àwọn ìdí tí a ṣe ń polongo pé kí ìran Yorùbá kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà, òun la tún fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. So as you're coming into the program, please help us to share and invite as many people to join as well. So let us slow down and let us appreciate the gods of Yoruba land and all other gods that we serve as Yoruba people. Èmi ni wọ́n pè ní OLAYOMI KOIKI, tí gbogbo wa mọ̀ sí Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorsteps. And it is the 2nd of April 2024. That means we are the 4th month of the Moki Silver Badmos. Ekabo Surieto. Moki Atobimeloma, Moki Oloye Gbowo. Moki Dr. Okebiorun Kosi. Moki Olori Eko. Moki Chief Mamule Yoruba. Moki Babawa Gẹ́gẹ́ Ojú. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí bàbá wa ọba Ògbóni, mo kí ìyá tó bí mi, mo kí Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Ẹ jẹ́ ká máa tẹ̀ sí inú program díẹ̀díẹ̀. While we are doing that, we are setting up all other platforms. Ẹ jẹ́ ká máa fi eléyìí fi dára wa lára yá, tá máa fi wọnú ètò díẹ̀díẹ̀ lọ. Mo kí wa pé ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. A very good morning and welcome. A very good morning and welcome. Osunade Omoragun Matthew, welcome to the program. Mo kí àwa iye ọládé bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò.
ọmọ ìyá ni mo ṣe àjìnà àmọ̀tẹ́kùn wa òjijì kàbẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ mojú. Yorùbá nation now no going back. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin bloggers gbogbo yín la kí o. Láti 1960 tá a ti gbòmìnira ọyún tó wá ṣe mọ́ ká padà sí ayé bàbá wa Awólọ́wọ̀. Yorùbá nation now.
Yoruba Nation now is a late night conversation. Muki Omoba Kenny Olumo Alashe. Muki gbogbo yín tẹ́tí ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Muki wa pé ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò wa bí a ti ṣe máa ń ṣe. Muki ẹni tó bá ṣe ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lákọ̀ọ́kọ́. Muki bàbá wa dé ní Jiganiu. Muki wa pé let us settle down and let us review Dizzy Man, my brother. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa, ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò, ẹ kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun. Àwa nìkan kọ́ là ń ṣiṣẹ́, gbogbo olúkálùkù wa ló ní role to play. I am just doing my own, and I just woke up. At least I have enough strength to go for the next 3 hours. Number one today.
Support by Abe 50 pounds or did you grab on our mojo? I'm on Debun one. Yoruba nation, no going back.
Yoruba nation, no going back. Yoruba nation for life. A very good morning and welcome, and let us start getting into the conversation again. There's a lot to cover as usual. There's a lot going on. Mr. Sam, thank you so much once again. Let us settle into the conversation. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ máa ń bèrè pé kí ni reason tá ṣe fẹ́ gba Yoruba nation? What is the reason? I hope you can all hear me loud and clear. So I've got all the mics all the way through. You know, see what? I can make sure pé gbogbo volume yẹn wà, all eye up. Ilé tí lọ sílẹ̀ ni òkè la fẹ́ yẹ kó lọ. Òkè la fẹ́ jẹ́ kó lọ. Òkè la. Mo kí wa pé and welcome. Let's take one more music and then we play the anthem and then we crack in. Shout out to you, my sister, all the way in Canada, the Igbo Jaye girl space. I was seeing you cooking. Tifite Miran Shell, Aku Ramadan, Aku Lent, gbogbo náà ti wọnú ara wọn. Àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yè, mo kí gbogbo apátápátá. Ọmọ ní mi mo kí ẹ, Dòsùn mo ṣẹ́gun mo kí yín, ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ní ilẹ̀ káàárọ̀ òjíire pé àkúkú bọ́ níjọ́ kan, ó kọ̀ kù díẹ̀ ni. Waris Jinadu, ó ní ọmọ Òdùwà, you know they sleep. Mo máa ti sùn, mo ti sùn láti bí aago mẹ́sàn-án, but it was in and out. I slept about 10 o'clock. But tí bá fẹ́ lọ ṣiṣẹ́ night, tọ́dẹ̀ máa sanwó fún mi, ṣé mo ní dìde ni? Tọ́ba ní kí n wá resume ní 2 o'clock, tí dẹ̀ máa ṣe tán lágo mẹ́fà, tọ́dẹ̀ máa san 10 pounds fún mi. Ó rà pé minimum wage wa máa lọ sí 11 pounds. I won't have any choice now. I did it. Some people are doing night job, so it is what it is, Iṣẹ́ tá gbà náà nìyẹn kí la fẹ́ ṣe sí báyìí. Àti gbà fún Elédùmarè pé kọ́ba Elédùmarè kó ṣàtú wa sílẹ̀. Ìwọ̀nba tá bá bára wa sọ káwọn èèyàn wa gbọ́, so that ká lè tètè bọ́ nínú oko ẹrú. Mo ń bọ̀ mo ti dé. Mo kí ẹ sister mi, the girl space. Àwọn baálé rẹ̀ ń kọ́ àtàwọn ọmọ mi lọ́hùn. àlàáfíà tó gbogbo wa. Mo kí yín, ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Mo ń bọ̀, mo ti dé. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o, ẹ bá a sọ fún Dr. Akinwumi Adesina pé àwa ò fẹ́ nǹkan kan tó ń jẹ́ United States of Nigeria. What we need now is to start discussing about Yoruba country, autonomous, independent, away from the contraction táwọn òyìnbó gbélé wa lọ́wọ́. That is the solution. Mr. Akim Arogba, mo kí yín, ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Bí gbogbo ń ṣe ń wọlé, tẹ bá pín kò pọ̀ jù, àkàrà ni ẹ jẹ́ kó kárí ilé. Mo ń bọ̀, mo ti dé. Mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí Instagram. Good morning and welcome to the live transmission. Mo kí ẹ ní gbogbo Lagos Island, ní gbogbo mainland, ní gbogbo Surulere. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Yẹmi Fatoki, káàbọ̀ sórí ètò, my big brother. Tẹ́ bá pín kò pọ̀ jù.
Yoruba nation now. No going back. Gbogbo yín bloggers. Gbogbo yín la kí o. Láti 1960 láti gbòmìnira. Ọyún tó wá ṣe mọ́, a padà sí ayé bàbá wa. Awólọ́wọ̀. Yoruba nation.
Mo kí Mr. Kọ́láwọlé Onítakúté, ẹ ṣé gan ni, ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. A máa délẹ̀ lérí Ọláyọrí lẹ́kọ̀ọ́, bọ̀ Ọláyọmí ni mò ń jẹ́, bọ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ náà ló jọra wọn. Ẹ ṣé gan ni. Gani Olóyèdé, mo kí ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Let's play our beautiful anthem and then we crack on into the conversation. It's all about the late night and many of you at home. I think a man server and a data and a time be. So please help us to wake somebody up. As a Yoruba, this is a time to keep an eye on the ball. There's a lot happening on our territory, and it is important that we we highlight them as much as we can so that we can wake the conscious mind of many of our people, especially àwọn tí tó bá máa tó máa fi di 2027. The reason why we have to do more of this now, because tó bá tó máa di 2027, Yoruba people will go and vote again, thinking that there is a hope somewhere in that contraction called Nigeria. So please invite your friends and family and let's crack on. Orílẹ̀-èdè àgbéga 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 ìgbàgbọ́ láti bẹ̀rù àṣìṣe 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 ìṣọ̀kan ìkẹjẹ tẹ̀síwájú ọ̀pọ̀ rere àtẹ̀yìn ọmọ Odùduwà bọ̀ sí ipò ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ìgbàdúláwọ̀ ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. And that is the anthem, and then we can crack on, slowly and slowly into the conversation. We're live on Twitter, we're live on Instagram, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook. We're not on the MixLR, so it's not a full broadcast, but it is still almost full. So I think we still have one more phone. Sometimes I just don't want to be bothered to start using the machine that I'm using to fight the Nigeria, which is this one. So when I turn this one on, this is the one that gives you, all those but I don't use this one. I use my phone and I use one laptop. But each time I turn this on, that tells you, oh, what's going on there? I think I didn't plug my laptop. And since I'm not in Nigeria, so I better do before the light goes off. Yeah, that's it. So the laptop is now on a full power on all the phones. So this is the machine that does the magic, the one that I use to fight from here, the one that opens the brain and the minds of all Nigerians. So this is the machine, okay? So if one of you have this and you have electricity and you have internet, you could be making £1 million without fraud. But because you're living in a society that doesn't have value for human, many of you have turned into drug addict, sex prostitute, because Nigeria has not given you the dream that you want. But you are always been told that that dream is getting closer. And that is what our forefathers were told. And many of you have been told the same thing. So when I use my phone, that means that we just try to manage what we have. Because when I switch this one on, all right, as this machine did like this, been using it now for the last 3 years, is the one that does the magic. It's called the Alienware. Very, very powerful. But Toba Lele, you can run a good business from your house without going into fraud, without going into prostitution. You can be speaking to China. This is the time that you talk to China, Alibaba, all the companies in China, because of the time difference. So if I go to China now and ask what is the time in China. The time in China now is a far different from Nigeria. China is now exactly 20 minutes to 10 a.m. in Beijing, where you can do business, you can communicate, you can have your own business in your house, you pay tax to the government, you'll be registered as self-employed, you'll be doing very good, you can drive Lamborghini, and a stupid policeman will not stop you. They do it as well because they're very racist. Because around don't shidada, don't go Mercedes. They stigmatize us because they believe that we are all into drugs. But when they eventually stop you, I'm talking about in this country, you would then prove to them that the policeman is stupid because you are a legit businessman. But in the shit hole country you all call Nigeria, they've locked you into begging for peanuts. So this machine alone can turn you into a billionaire, but not in Nigeria because you don't have the electricity, the government. Eunice, my Biafra sister, I say at the come your end for Canada, we go cook. Your husband and I will go chop edikaikon and obono. So when you have this kind of laptop, you can do a lot of things, you know. You can become content creator, which a lot of you are doing because everybody's a content creator in Nigeria, even though we know a lot of you are into drugs and fraud. But you use the content creator to pretend that you are doing something so that we don't know that you are a drug dealer or you are into prostitution or you are part of the corrupt politician children that takes money and then they give it to you and you become the big man. And when people say, hey, that is a billionaire, then you ask them, what job does he do? Kini job role? What is the job description? Oh, he's a property developer. He develop property. He buy lands and they bought all the lands in Lagos. They bought the land in Abuja and Wike is destroying them. So this machine, let me just switch it on for you to see the sound. You hear the sound, the way it's going. Tiki tiki. Did you see? Did you see? It's coming out. You see that? Yeah, it comes on. It's called the Alienware. It's a 17-inch screen. You don't need the Nigerian government to tell you what to do. They just need to put the policies in place, put the right infrastructures across the 36 states, and then allow you to develop. But they don't want you to develop. That is why they sprinkle bread around your... Thank you so much. Disney Man said he has now set up a direct debit that every month I will be receiving payment for the service I do. This is what me and my son will use. So you can see how powerful the machine is. Okay? This is the life that I am asking for you, that you refuse to listen to me. And you listen to Dino Malaye, Shehu Sani, and all the corrupt politicians that have destroyed your brain. If you are an editor, you are into photography, when you take your picture with your very big lens, you come here, you edit it with Adobe, then you become a billionaire. But not in Nigeria. So you can also play game. It has a lot of things inside. So let me log into it, and then I don't want to show you my password because I protect it from criminals. Not all Nigerians are criminals, but majority of you are criminals. You want to steal money from, you want to look like Hush Puppy. Eventually, Hush Puppy was a criminal. And it can never work. Yes, my sister, it says we need to exit Nigeria to protect the future of our children in order not to be enslaved in their fatherland. We don't fight now, those generations will curse you. They will throw acid on our own grave. He's going to say, what do we do collectively to make Nigeria better? I think you're on the wrong platform if you're talking about, trying to fix Nigeria. It is too late to fix Nigeria. Your father could not fix Nigeria. Your great-grandfather did not fix Nigeria because Nigeria was not designed to be fixed. And that is what makes me different. I don't know what part of the world you are. It doesn't matter. If you're one of those thinking that you want to go and fix Nigeria, British never wanted Nigeria to work. Idiot all over the place. So when you come to this kind of machine, okay, it allows you to do a lot of things. I can easily become a millionaire by just selling on eBay. I buy product from China, then I sell it on eBay, which a lot of people have done, and government will tax you because government needs to take part of the money from you. Be careful with your comments. You have the right to your comments. This platform stands for the total breakup of Nigeria. We are not interested to fix Nigeria. If you want to fix Nigeria, you go to Nigeria and fix Nigeria if you can. Don't come here and tell us how we have to fix Nigeria, okay? And be very careful with your comments because my eyes can see everything that is going on this screen. And I have my 65-inch there. I can pin you out anytime. I have a screen there. I have a screen there. So when some of you, they were in Nigeria, this is my own eBay account where I buy and I sell, where I can make small penny. I buy goods in wholesale, whether it's tomato pin, whether it's tomato puree, and then I sell it back with some little extra money. This is what I'm asking in a Yoruba country. Nigeria can be great. It can be decades. Bomb bastard. Go and fix Nigeria with your father. Idiot all over the place. If your father no fix Nigeria, now you go and fix Nigeria. Which Nigeria will be great? Idiot. We don't need idiot here. We need people that can open their mind. The British citizens are not better than the Yoruba people and the Igbo and the Hausas. Why should a British citizen be making money? Because the system says that they are one, speak the same language. You will never make money in Nigeria. You will make ritual blood money. So when you want to now sell cars, which I have done in the past, you come here on eBay, you type cars. Then it tells you all kind of model of cars you want to buy. Then from there, you can decide whether you want to buy and resell. This is just one out of many things that you can do, but you need a government for the Yoruba people, the government for the Hausa people, the government for the Ibobo people, the Edo people. But Nigeria have locked you out. Multi-block Oloshiedano, bomb bastard, and Mali. So let me turn this off. I just want you to start thinking that this is not the time for you to start saying you want to fix Nigeria. Obasanjo knew that you cannot fix Nigeria. Obasanjo was trained here in Sandhurst, just like Buhari was trained. What more way ìran Yorùbá ó gbọ́dọ̀ tẹ̀síwájú? So different cars, a BMW E30, 7,000 pounds. Now we can now be doing business with other countries around the world, and we can become, engaged. And if you want to go into, any other areas of life, I don't block the Oloshidanu. Thank you so much, Godwin Ubaji. We don't want Oloshi people here. We want people that can reason. Don't come and tell us Nigeria will be fixed in another decade. Do you know what that means? You will sit in Nigeria for the next 30 years. I am 44. Bomb bastard. I am 44. Rishi Sunak, I am older than him. The reason why Rishi Sunak was ahead of the game is because he was born in a system that works. I was not born in a system that works, but even though my parents were wealthy to the extent of sending me to a private school, at least to start my pre-primary education, I went to Onward Nursery Primary School. My dad was very rich, but my mom knew that there was a danger in Nigeria in the 90s, and that was why she left Nigeria. But one thing is, yeah, that is very possible. We hope that that can work, if we can get hold of him. But there's some work going on behind the scene. And I'm responding to somebody that say, will it be possible for Adeyinka grandson to be invited to join Yoruba Nation? But like I said, he will decide. He's a Yoruba man, and we thank God that he's back out of the English, holding him back. We might not agree with everything, but he's a Yoruba man. So let me just put this down. So in case you don't know, people are sitting on a computer, not doing drugs and yahoo, and they are becoming, go to the stock market and see how people are making money. Different things you can do with a machine like these. You can do so much research. This is what we are asking for. The future that works, not the one in Nigeria. Crash or sour, traders are preparing for the stock extreme. BBC, Trump social media trumps DGT stock plumped days after going public. Yahoo UK, stock market bubble ones are everywhere. These are the top most richly valued stock right now. Forbes, gold hit another high despite a strong stock market. I am just giving you things that are basic. And if I want to go to school or I need help, then I go to the gov.uk website that gives me everything I need to know about the UK government. When you come on that website, every goddamn thing you need to know. I don't need any politicians. I don't need to visit any babalawo. I don't need to go to church to ask for something that I should go on the government website. I don't need to go to the mosque for something that is basic that goes on the government website. If it's my driver license, I need to renew, I go there. If I'm looking for a job, I go there. As many of you, they come on the social media asking for support. You are meant to go onto the Nigerian Gov website where you will ask for universal benefit, child benefit, illness benefit, support there, support that. That is what we're asking for. Nothing big, nothing much. But for 63 years, it was designed to fail from the day one because the foundation was faulty. When you go on this website, you everything you need to know. And if you don't even know, then they tell you to come to Citizen Advice Bureau. You're right. Because every citizen must have a right. Even if you commit a crime, you still have a right. It is only in Nigeria that people don't commit crime, but they are penalized for something, while the rich that have stolen so much out of Nigeria are never penalized. And you expect that system to change and work for you. You will live in denial. Christina, no, they say Nigeria is so much richer than UK from the beginning, which you're quite right, and I can take you straight to what Babakitoye said there, because it's all about the discussion. At independence in 1960, Nigeria was truly the economic giant. There's no doubt about it. The economic giant in the 60s. And the hope of Africa. Did you get those two words? The economic giant and the hope of Africa. That hope and that vision is dead. If any one of you is still thinking that you will use your brain power to fix Nigeria, it will drain you. And if you're not lucky, you might be killed as you try to. Not that we don't have honest people that wants to transform that shithole country, but they will sink you. They will use all kind of spiritual attack to make sure that you either run mad or you join them. It is not a foundation that is designed to work. It was never designed. It is a deliberate act. And it is important that many of us understand that the game is to take us, the Yoruba, the Igbos, the Hausas. We might have our differences, but we are better off separately so that we can have a system of government where you can go on this website and ask for your right. I don't live in this country. I wasn't born here. But the privilege that I have is more than the privilege in a shithole country that I was born in 1978. The opportunity that I've been given in this country would not have been possible in Nigeria in the next 70 years. Is that the country you're trying to fix? Something is definitely wrong with your medulla oblongata. Why do you think that when we travel out of Nigeria, we flourish within the space of 10 years if you know what you're doing? The reason why you will not flourish is because you might probably not have the right documentation, which affected people like us for 15 years. I was locked from not doing certain things. But the moment that opportunity was open, I speed up. I remember opening a business in this country when I came, and during my immigration case, the judge asked me who gave me the right to open a business when I was still going through my immigration. Most of you don't know that that is the reason why people like us are challenging the diaspora that are having the same privilege, and they're telling you to call God to fix Nigeria. God is not coming to fix Nigeria because Nigeria was not created by God. Nigeria was created by a stupid idiot that could not find love in UK. Lugard returned back to Africa where he found love among every one of us. Where is the love today? Let me close my machine. And let's come back to the reality. Shout out to you, my brother, Jack Olushola. And good morning to many of you that have joined us. From the day one, it was designed to fail. Mr. Bello Ismaila, thank you so much. Mr. Oluomo Adedeji, thank you, my brother. Shout out to those of you on the Twitter. Oh, yes. At the beginning, it was meant to work. But behind the curtains, it was not designed to work. It was designed to fail, and it has failed, and it is not likely to survive because we have now woken up many minds. Not all Nigerians have woken up, but at least the spirit of millions of people are now asking questions, because some of us that you want DSS and the civil defense and the police to kill, just like we couldn't find Daddy Yati since 2019. Just like Rebecca was stoned to death in Sokoto, Kano. Just like Tolu. Imagine Nigeria trained an helicopter combat pilot, then end up killing her because she was fighting the right cause. I'm talking about Tolulope Arotile. She was not yet married. She was just in less than at 25. She was not up to 30 years old. She was one of the brilliant from Kogi State in Okun. Mathematics was one of her best. She knew how to handle that Apache helicopter to fight and kill terrorists that has now destroyed almost every part of Nigeria. Do you know what that means? That a country trained somebody and then end up killing that same person. We were given a federation that the English colonialists knew that some of us will move faster than the others and make sure that all that was destroyed for a purpose. We were kept in slavery for over 500 years for a deliberate act. Church of England was involved. So when you pray in Church of England, you might start asking them, why they got involved in slave trade. One of the regions of the Nigerian Federation in the 60s, the Western region, had the most intensely educated population in Africa, and that is still up to date. Even though the level of your education is zero, because we know that many of you coming out of university today cannot defend that degree. You bribe yourself or you paid somebody to do it for you. And don't ask me for evidence, because even most of the nurses that came from Ibadan through the exam center in UK, we were told that they will now have to review over 500 nurses because those results were all corrupt. That was what education was like during the Western region. People were reading heavily up to degree, master's, PhD, and they can defend it. Most of you cannot defend your result today because you know that definitely that is a crime scene in a country where you got that degree from. The Western region had very massive individuals, just like the Eastern region and the Northern region. Nigeria was ranked as one of the world's largest exporter of cocoa. And I believe I gave the example of what cocoa has done for the UK market. This is the end product of what cocoa has done. Billions are sold yearly across the globe. This is how we should have become the most powerful region just with our cocoa, just as the East would have become a powerful region with their palm oil, just as the North would have become powerful with their groundnut. But something went wrong. We didn't just have cocoa. Other regions, as Yoruba, also have other resources that many of you today might probably don't even have access to. Up to last year, I was receiving daily with all the invoices of gold being taken out of Nigeria airport, coming from somewhere in Yoruba land. I will not give you the state. I knew where they were going because all the chart plan was sent to me. CBN was involved. And I'm not talking about just one gold bar. These were moved weekly. And many of you struggling to have 3 square meal. England or UK does not have gold, but they have good amount of gold reserves. They've taken every one of us for a meek, and it is time that we wake up and ask, why should we save Nigeria? Who are we actually saving Nigeria for? I am not here to come and argue with you to put Nigeria back to where it's meant to be. If you're one of those, I will take you out of this broadcast. There are other platforms you can go and defend Nigeria. There's so many of them on social media, like Reno, that idiot. We are not here to come and defend Nigeria. We are here on this platform to make sure that everything is done in this, our present generation, to bring down that monster that British created for a reason known to them. And we will do that. And don't ask me to come back home. Britain created Nigeria from here. We will do as much as what we can do from here to bring it down. The British cannot stop what we are doing. They know quite all right that the children of Baba Awolowo will wake up one day and fight back. And this is exactly what we are doing. And we've not started using AK-47 against each other. When that happened, America will remove their citizen just as they've done in Haiti. But for now, it is still a conversation. And the chances of that happening is very, very high. I will not deny that. Nigeria can explode anytime. And it is entirely up to us to prepare our mind. And let me give you what I've just read as I was preparing for this program again, just like I have a lot to discuss all the time. When I come on my laptop, I have a lot of news that comes to my screen. World War III, fears rise as more countries back Emmanuel Macron after NATO threat chaos. War has always been fought so that they can grab more land. Some countries on NATO's eastern flank have come out to praise Emmanuel Macron's newfound hawkish stance against Russia. Those fight is not going to be in Russia alone. They're bringing it to Africa. So prepare your mind. Because Senegal is sending message to France to take their hands off Senegal. But the Nigerians doesn't want the European country, the African countries to take their hands off our region where gold is moved out of the Yoruba land and we are poor. And I'm not talking about 1, 3, 5 gold. I'm talking about a weekly gold supported by some of our corrupt politicians with the Central Bank of Nigeria. I was given all the details, but it's not yet for public consumption. And so many other crimes like that is going on in Nigeria that many of you that are coming and accusing us would never know. Many of such I witness as well when I travel with CSI, where individuals that are not even Nigerians, I didn't even know that Kusa was called gold until I was told that that is gold. Ononwa Kusa. I was asking CSI, Kusa. We caught them right where they were operating. And if you go back on Channels Television last week in Ife University, there was also illegal mining right inside the campus. Logs of trees are moved out of Nigeria to China, while many of you cannot have a stable student desk across Yoruba land in terms of chair and desk. We have the forest, but logs are cut every blessed day and moved out to China. Finland Foreign Minister Elena Vatoni argued the French president was right not to spell out to which extent Western support for Ukraine would go. There will be World War III. There's no doubt about it, but that will be fought somewhere in Africa as well. Many of our forefathers fought on behalf of British for the World War I, World War II, but they were never paid for that services. The official told the Financial Times, now that the time to send boots on the ground, and we are not even willing to discuss it at this stage. But for the long term, of course, we shouldn't be ruling anything out. She added, why would we, especially not knowing where this war will go? It will come to Africa. And if you don't know, go back and say why Ukraine is supporting one section of the military in Sudan, while Russia is supporting the second section. That means the war is already in Africa. The strategic ambiguity being created by Mr. Macron was also praised by other nations along the NATO border with Russia. Yigi Martins Pelvilions, head of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Lithuania Parliament. Do you know that Lithuania is just one country, as many that are not even up to the population of some of our states? Let's look at the population of Lithuania to start with. The population of Lithuania is just less than 3 million. And some of you idiots is telling me to save Nigeria so that Nigeria can be controlled by Lithuania, and some of them, you cannot even get a visa to this country. According to the World Bank, in 2022, the population of Lithuania, spelled Lithuania, Lima Indigo Tango Hotel Uniform Alpha November Indigo Alpha, 2.83 million. Do you know what that means? We can just drop them in one of the local government in Oyo State. Let's go further and do a bit more research into this country called Lithuania. Maybe that will wake you up this morning. YORUBA, save Nigeria. Let's go again. Lithuania. Lithuania, officially the Republic of Lithuania, is a country in the Baltic region of Europe. Thank you so much, Mr. Moses. It is one of the 3 Baltic states and lies on the eastern shore of the Baltic Sea. They have their own language. They don't care about what English is. They speak their language. You communicate back with them with their language. If otherwise, you toss off. We have a Yoruba country. You don't understand Yoruba, that will be your problem. But we will still be very moderate. We will have English because we speak it very well. English is not our language. Kokin Shedetiwa is a borrowed language that the English people forced on every one of those countries that they colonized during that era. Took our language, took our culture, our tradition. China doesn't go along with December 31st as New Year. They have their own New Year and they have their own calendar system. A population of 2.83 million according to the World Bank in 2022. Their official language is Lithuania. Their capital is Vilnius. What type of government are they practicing? Unitarian state, parliamentary system, parliamentary republic, semi-presidential system. Their current president is a woman. She's just 49 years old. She was born 15th of November 1974. A bomb bastard will come and ask me, who is going to become the Yoruba Prime Minister? Idiot, because you cannot think out of your brain. You can be, because if she is 49, that means she controls a government that tells Nigeria what to do and not what to do. Bomb bastard. Mokia Easy. Good morning, Tony Ages. Some of you cannot think. Oh, is it the same set of politicians that will become our leaders when we get Yoruba Nation? So what about you? Because you have been told that you are not a leader, you are a puppet. But that is not going to be the same thing when we have an independent Yoruba nation that has its own culture, language, and a self-government that will respect citizens. Just like I was not born here, but the British government has allowed me to do exactly what I want to do as long as I am not involved in terrorism. Idiot all over the place. Ingrida Simoyita, the Lithuania Prime Minister, she's just 49 years old. Eliawa ma dictate fún gbogbo àwa 40 million Yoruba people in Nigeria. Don't do this, do that. No, Nigeria, you cannot do that. That is part of what they're doing, because I won't be surprised if Lithuania doesn't have some kind of arrangement with Nigeria through one thing or the other. But because Ele Ronu, you're waiting for Bola Tinubu to come and tell you this. You're waiting for Atiku or the bomb bastard politicians that have corrupt Nigeria and they have become the next slave that they have become the next colonial masters on us. Ingrida is a Lithuanian politician. She was a public servant. She was an economist, who is serving as the 17th and the current prime minister of a country that is not up to 3 million. She has been a member of the Semirs for the Antakinias constituency since 2016 and was the Minister of Finance. Kemi Adeosun would have served in a Yoruba government than how she has gone to serve in Nigeria, and the cabal make sure that her life was becoming miserable. She was forced to resign. A very brilliant Yoruba woman, just as this woman as well. Kemi Adeosun, I'm sure some of you know her. But because we are waiting for people like this corrupt politician to come and tell us, oh, we've just fixed the road. Oh, no, we're going to put, curve there. She was born November 15, 1974. Lithuania Prime Minister, 49 years old. Just like the Yoruba people have studied, she was well read as well. She went to Vilnius University Faculty of Economics. We were told that we also was part of the 25% of the population of Black Africa, well read. Good morning, Mr. Moses Idowu. But unfortunately, everything that we have tried to explain to you seems that when we tell you this, you go back inside your Amalabuka where there is no electricity. I was watching Dr. Zabi before I slept off. University College Hospital does not have electricity in Ibadan. And you say you have engineers that have become professor, graduated. And you want to fix a country that doesn't want to fix you. Shanoma. What is wrong with us? You want to be fixing something that doesn't want you to be fixed. I am still giving you, and you can see, as I was trying to find a little bit more about this woman, it's just that I am not using the back end for you to see it. It came all the way in a language that I don't understand. But because Google knows that I am operating from England, UK, that means I might need translation. But the Google is already telling me now, translate the page from Lithuania to English, which I have to, because I cannot read this because that is not my language. And Ashirilowa Ninu language, which the colonial master knew and removed that from us. Why do you think that when you go in a public transport, you want to communicate with your children, you start speaking your language? Because, Joko sibenye, bieda, uwama joko jadele, ma foju awon emo. She's on English. It's because you're passing a message that you don't want the next person to know. That is what they destroyed. That is what they took from us. So I'm going to do a translation because I don't speak Lithuanian. And within a second, everything has been transformed into English. Let's look at our education background. In 1992, while I was still in secondary school, is it he or she safe? Because they're looking, I'm seeing E here, but it looks like sometimes these people, they look like women and men, 1 minute. Gotta be sure because I don't want to give a false information. So let me see if she's a woman or she's a Lithuanian Prime Minister. Yes, she's a woman. So they must have done a mistake here. because they keep saying E graduated. After the Bible convert, let's see, I don't know. Because these people, you don't know the way they operate. Yeah. All right. I don't know why they're using E for I, so there must have been a kind of a slight. This is where you pick things. Mukia Wi-Fi Bumileke. Good morning, ma. I'm just gonna go with what we have here anyway. I can just say she, because I don't know why they're using E. So it could just be maybe whoever was doing the editing of the Wikipedia. And you cannot do your own Wikipedia. Somebody has to on your behalf. If you do it, that is you, it is nullified automatically. So I'm just going to go with what you have here. In 1992, she graduated from the Vilnius 7th Secondary School with a silver medal. She Lomo Yoruba not to graduate today with brilliant outcome. There's so many of them during my time at Abeokuta Grammar School, and they're still doing very well. I will not mention name. I remember the girl that became our head girl during my set. People thought she was going to a science class until we end up together with me and her, and we're still close friends. She comes to UK, she will come down to this house, my wife cook, we eat together. I go to Nigeria, I do the same thing, visit her with her husband and her children. Brilliant, extremely brilliant girl. She's not a woman anyway, but I'll not mention her name. These are the kind of people that we should prepare for the future of the Yoruba government. Not the idiot of you coming and telling me, oh, who's going to be the prime minister? As if you will not more your class to more with that. Even you as well. Yeah, I went to Abeokuta Grammar School. In 1992-96, I don't know why they keep showing E. He studied at the Faculty of Economics and received a bachelor degree in business administration. This is the person now leading a country of 3 million. So Kilowan Shawa Tawanrope, when we break, we will have problems with each other. We don't have problems. We have issues with the system that was set up and forced on us, which British knew, because they knew Awolowo more than how Awolowo knew them. So let's go further. Let's look at their GDP. Even though it's a small country, it's not bad for a country of 3 million. So whatever that comes up with now, work it out with Lagos State. If Lagos was a country of its own. As at 2022, the GDP of a country that is less than 3 million is 70.97 billion US dollars. GDP per capita is 25,000 US dollars. GDP by growth rate is 2.4% annual. And I can tell you some other countries just below that. Luxembourg, GDP was 81.64 billion in 2022. Belarus, 72.79 billion US dollars. Slovakia, 115.5 billion US dollars. Instagram will come back because it's 26 seconds to end it, so I might just end it and come back. A very good morning and welcome to the late night broadcast. Self-determination. Nigeria needs the courage to dissolve peacefully so that the Yoruba people and the rest of the ethnic can find their feet in a system that works for them, not the one set up by British Empire that still controls what Nigeria is today. And please don't tell me that you got independent. You were never independent. You never got one. Don't compare us with South Africans. We are Yoruba people. We are not South Africans. And we are being a very, very intelligent, Thought I started a live. Well civilized. My mom sent me something which stated Ijebode, how we've been well educated, even up to the first man that bought a car in Ijebu. So it's on my phone and I don't want to touch that phone. I'll probably share that tomorrow, inshallah, Lashedumari, in Jesus' name. Let's look at, is Lithuania a low or middle income country? People are asking questions. So Lithuania is classified as an high income country. So you're likely to live a better life in Lithuania than Nigeria, even though it's a very, very small, tiny country. Let's go a little bit deep again. Lithuania. Religion. There is no state religion in Lithuania. However, the biggest faith group is Roman Catholicism. According to the population census in 2011, about 77% of those who deem themselves religious identify themselves as Catholics. Let's see where their passport index stands as of today and how that passport works. Question was asked by individuals, how strong is the Lithuanian passport? The Lithuanian passport ranks number 26 in the world as at March this year. The March that just passed, just 48 hours ago, because today is the 2nd of April 2024, 3:27 a.m. from London. So you can see why you keep asking yourself, why do we protect a country like Nigeria, Tiko Wakfuma, when we can dissolve into smaller units and we can speedily move policies that works, build an economy that protect our interest, have a system of government that respect the value of lives, not the shithole that continue to kill innocent Nigerians on a daily basis, either through the hospital like UCH that I was watching, never have a full electricity because electricity is not meant to be something to work in Africa, mostly Nigeria. Mr. Jayola say, Lithuania that has no global presence like Yoruba land. Shay, may we wake up and get sense as powerful tribe. Hashtag bigger than Africa. Lithuanian passport allows you to travel at least up to the 27 countries. Oh, you're miss. Thank you so much for correcting that, sir. Yami. 27 European countries. One of them is not up to 3 million. And I only make a decision and say they will be making decision for Africa. And Africa has 54 countries, if I'm not wrong. This one will now be telling us about population control. Oh, don't do this, climate change, this, that. This country that is not up to 3 million. Because already is part of the European Union, and that means it has a voice in the global world. You might say we call it global presence, Yami, but in the nutshell, they are part of the European countries, so that gives them the voice. According to the passport index, this means that Lithuanian citizens can travel free to 150 countries in the world out of at least 195. That is more than enough. How long are you going to live in this world? And please don't tell me about when you die, you go to heaven or you go to hell. Let's fix the world that we are living first, which is the Yoruba land, before we talk about heaven or wherever you think you want to go. And I don't have to do a comparison with the Nigerian shit or passport. Yes, most of us still carry it, but it doesn't have any value. It's as dead as arrival. Most of you that have other passport, you are very, very lucky. Whether you were born in those countries or after your immigration, you've been able to nationalize yourself into other countries. Give thanks to your God. Mokiba Bawasil Akinyele. As the head girl of Abeokuta Girls Grammar School, Ijebode, I can attest to the education that Ijebode School is produced back in the 90s was powerful. Today it is something else. Education money in Nigeria. I can tell you, I'm sorry, education in Nigeria today is dead on arrival. Zero. We will have to start afresh again. If anybody is still defending the education in Nigeria today, I'm sorry, you are probably not all right. So let's now ask, like I've asked again, I've given us some background of a country. Let's see what they export. What does Lithuania export? Let's get a grasp of a country. Lithuania exports products. Let's see what they export. Okay, interesting. Oh, Anglican Girls Grammar School. Okay, not Abeokuta Grammar School. Okay. Yeah, no, I've heard about them. Oh, it turned 70 this January. Interesting. And you old students. And most of us are the one funding all the schools. Donate every year. That's a case study for Lithuania. Is perfect. So you see why we try to bring, Ijebode that this my mommy is talking about is more in population. I mean, let's do something. Let's go and do something quickly. Google again. I don't like the Internet Explorer, but I don't have a choice. Ogun State. Let's do some few comparison. The population of Ogun State that I've just checked, and I want to be right before I read it out. We have a big problem to go. We've got to dissolve Nigeria as very fast as possible so that we can move forward. Yoruba we accept that we've tried to fix Nigeria, but this time around, forget it. It's not worth fixing. And I just hope I'm right. But I'm going with what I'm reading here. And if I'm wrong, please, if you have another information, but I will go with what I have here. As at 2022, the population of Ogun State is 6.3 million. That is 2 times Lithuania in terms of size. Do you understand now? Do you get it? Bobo school ni Yami Christina Onode Emma Beno. I've been reading some of your comments there, but it's going very fast. And I appreciate everyone that has joined me this morning. I am not the best, but I'm trying my best to bring things and add it together so that we can work out. And my course in my program is because it is what I believe might probably wake your minds up. And sometimes if I just want to keep quiet like this without cursing, is because I want it to sink properly. But mostly some of you do, boy, I'm born on the program name, program. But you're lying, because this is where the truth is. Mr. Wasil Akinyele said, 70% of the people think Nigeria can't break up because poverty don't give ability to reason. Our people are in multidimensional poverty and politicians lying to them. Mokibabawa, Mr. Agbaje Wasil, Ms. Yami Taiwo Kike, She lives in a country where their currency, you cannot take it out. I think Kuwait or Qatar. Eshegoni Yami Christina. Yami Jayola said, if Mama Onitiri betrayed our cause, Kim Mashibai, Koiki, which way forward by? Well, the way forward is for us to force, go back into this conversation again. The division is a different thing. Whether she says she has, and I know we're diving a little bit away, even though we're meant to stick with Ogun State. Even if Yonitiri says she has declared, she has not declared as far as we are concerned. I've listened to her last broadcast, which I'm not going to be going into what she said because it's the same rhetorics. I'm a journalist. I took time to listen to everything she said. Nothing new. It is just the same rhetorics. And she's already given the hint that Adele will not be declared, which she knows she has no Adele coming, because she gave the impression that they needed a $1 million, which Davido used to travel with his private jet before they can set up Adele. Now they've not even come up with almost $250,000. So what I think they're just doing is just the same, trying to do campaign. So they're not going anywhere. So in terms of where are we going? Where are we going is two things. We go through the diplomatic route. It's going to take some time. We fight it now. We end Nigeria quicker. It will be bloody. It will be painful. But we will all have to sacrifice. Well, I'm saying the same thing, Mr. Fred, if you think and open your ears. Talk is cheap. Are you ready to go back to Nigeria to fight? I am ready. How many of you are ready? Some of us have determined to go back, but not every single one of you are ready. I have told my wife, 72 hours, I will leave this country and I'll be making my way to Nigeria. The Ukraine citizen left this country and went back to fight. And they were fighting for something to save their land. Whether the fight is right or wrong, that is not my problem. I was at the Ukraine embassy. I saw men volunteering themselves to return back home. They left everything they were doing here with their children and they went back to Ukraine to fight. Many of you also wanted to go back to fight because you were thinking that you would get citizenship of Ukraine. Remember that Ukraine came out and said, and many of you went to their embassy in Abuja and leave your name. Are we ready to do the same thing for Yoruba nation? That is the question that many people are scared of. Because very blood. But Buhari killed 28,000 of Yoruba people. That did not happen during the IRA and the UK war for 30 years. 28,000 people were not killed. So why are we living in denial? It's because we are scared. So somebody say, what is the way forward? Are you ready to return back home? Or if you're at home, are you ready to fight? The talk is cheap. When the movement started, I went to Nigeria and I told CSI I was not returning back to UK until we finished this fight. But that is not for public consumption. I told my wife I was going and she knew I was not coming back to UK. CSI ló bẹ̀ mí pé kí n má padà bọ̀. Some of you don't have the balls. So when some of us have the balls, just leave us. So what we are doing right now is to wake the minds up. I told us not to go for election. You've done election now. What is the end result? Katrina Lang that created you to go and be thinking about PVC. Where is she now? The UK has taken out of Nigeria. They've taken out to another country to go and destabilize. Idiot all over the place. The American ambassador that end up leaving Nigeria after the election, they complete their mission and they move on. And they'll put somebody else again, like Dr. Richard Montegori. And I can see his movement is going around because some of you are not following them. They're already doing the same thing that they will tell you, go and vote in 2027. They've started while we are here talking. Ben in Kuwait, thank you so much. Yami Taiwo Kike, she's in Kuwait. You cannot take Kuwait money out of their country. You will spend it there. You think America wants you to break? You think UK wants Nigeria to break? Nobody wants anybody to break, because what belief we are part of the slaves. Many Yoruba people are doing very well in the American government here in UK. I've been given access to many people that are doing very high top jobs that I cannot even mention to you on this broadcast, that they've confided in me. Talking about Yoruba people, not people like us that are cleaning toilets or washing plates. I have Yoruba people that work in Buckingham Palace when Queen was there, and we still have Yoruba people that are working there while King Charles is there. God bless the king. You can curse him, I cannot. I live in this country. Idiot. So let's go back to Ogun State and do the comparison with Lithuania. Ogun State is 6.3 million in population. Mukiya Wayotunde Olukoya. Do you understand what that means? That means that Ukraine Meji Luan in Ogun State. Because if Ukraine is not even up to 3 million, automatically we have two countries operating in Ogun State. Yet Ogun doesn't have an airport in 21st century. And I asked the question, Kilodeti Baba Ogunlesi did not invest in Nigeria for a very long time, because they've tried to invest until the coup happened. From what we read about the history of him in one of the broadcasts, if you're following this broadcast, we're trying not to make this broadcast any more than 2 hours. So it will be easy for everybody to watch and listen. Over the 3 hours, it could be very, very long. Kilodeti Baba invest. These are people that are sitting on a portfolio of over $1 trillion US. Why has he not invest in the same airport system that is operating around the world or other infrastructures? If Ogun State was his own state, why did Baba Ogunlesi did not invest in that state in millions of dollars and transform the look of Ogun State and bring investors into Ogun State? Because they can see what we cannot see. But our Taniteten Kobo, we were struggling putting that resources back home. And to manage shop, and to manage this, that. Some of us don't need the money back. We were just doing that to support our loved ones back home. What has been the return? After 17 years, nothing. Failure. Because the system was not designed to work. Yes, we have Ogun State that still have good amount of industries, but we're talking about industries that is not supporting you. I pull out one of my team, Tumbami Shishe, in 2021, after he got a bond in his hand, doing biscuit in one of the factory, and Uluri Bruku that doesn't respect workers. I did not even say it properly until he left back to Lagos. Kọ́nà àwọn team ló wá lọ pa ọ̀gá bọ̀bọ̀ tó wá yẹn ẹ̀rí gbogbo apẹ́ ẹ̀ ni mo ní mo rí n bá pè padà. Then he was not working with me. He's one of my top guy now. Ní bá ní kí ló ṣe lápá ẹ̀ ó ní machine táwọn fi ń ṣe bíi biscuit kìíní ẹ̀ ó rà á lọ́wọ́ àwọn anìkọ́ ló máa da penicillin sí. I sent him in the morning and I told him, first thing in the morning, return back to Ibadan. And Chief then, very good nurse. If you leave it, treating it with just small penicillin, all this red capsule, red and yellow capsule. Money the long software. All those industries are bastard in Ogun State. Just using people for slave trade. Woton software to 10,000 a month. That is how he became part of Koikimedia team today. And he's doing very well. And I'm grateful that we did that for him then. Young guy. Very, very intelligent. Just as many of you are intelligent, but Nigeria has dragged you down. We need to wake up from our slumber. That is soon. Too long. Oh yeah, George Akinola is still on board. Very, very much in contact with him. He was on the program on Yoruba World Media last week. Pẹ̀lú Dr. Zabi and Omo Boriowo. I bought my Yoruba World Media. Don't miss it because, you will see a lot of them coming there. Those ones spoke in 2017. I'm talking about George Akinola. This man said the former UK Prime Minister reiterated last week that the UK needs new economy model because the UK 3 trillion debt up to date. That is what I have been saying, that the new economic model is needed in 2007. Ogun State is 2 times of Lithuania. Lithuania is 2.8 million in population. Ogun State is 6.3 million. You can see the difference of what we are saying. Akonpepe sínú ìlú tí kò respect wa, ìlú tó fún wa ní value. Even if you have a good politician, they will not work in a good country because there's nothing called Nigeria, because it was never designed. Nigeria from day one was designed to fail. It was not designed to work. Britain knew what they were doing. So let's go back into this, write-up that I got from Abakintoye that we have been treating for some time now. Yes, we were all doing very well during the Western region. Mukia Silva Badmos. Why are we not doing very well today? There's nothing called Western region anymore. Eastern region, Northern region. We now have a buffoon 36 states where all the politicians are taking advantage. That is why we are saying to our governors, you have security vote. Why are you not protecting our people from the marauders of the Fulani terrorists? That even the new president refused to call them terrorists, using the word bandits. In Boloko, you see, they are the chief security of the state, yet they cannot protect our people from being massacred and killed, like what has happened in Ilora, where farmers are no longer able to go to farm. The Western region are the second largest deposit of bitumen in the world. Do you understand what that means? Imagine that we are being told that Anikokon to get number 2 in the whole world. Do you know what the word stands for? When I talk about the word, I always try to show you this, my map. This is the world. Be a man understanding it. This is the world. Agbaye, the world. One ní níbi kan ní Africa, ní West Africa, somewhere around that there. One ní kankan nínú bẹ̀, ní abẹ́lẹ̀ bẹ̀, tó jẹ́ number 2 in the whole world. And yet, we don't have roads to our father's house, to our mother's house, because it was not designed. This is 10 minutes to 4 a.m. Though I don't drive anymore in UK. If I was driving, which I will very soon again, I would just go on the M25 and you will see tons of lorries. This is the time that the government expects them to travel, and they will move goods and services, goods mostly, from point A to point B. They will move goods. What goods are they moving? From anything to the smallest thing that you can think of, from the Smarties to water to Vaseline, things that people have produced in large quantity that have arrived, and the vans and the lorries are moving them even from Europe down here and the other way out. But all this happened because they have a good road network. Nigeria will not have a great road network even if Nigeria exists, which it will not, last Shedumari, for another 63 years. Yet we have something that can be used to build that road network called bitumen. So why? I remember traveling to Iwopin, and I cried when I got to Iwopin paper mill, part of what the Western region produced. The first African paper mill and probably number 3 as well in the world. Nothing seems to be working, but what I saw was as we were going into the road, you could see that the road has gone damaged, but going to the edge, because we parked, you could see the thickness of the road, not the one that they were producing in the new 21st century. And I'm talking about almost some 5 years ago. So kí ló dé tí a fi ronú? Kí ló ń bà wá lẹ́rù? Kí ló ń já wa láyà? Ta là ń bẹ̀rù? So Ogun State is 2 countries if you calculate it with Lithuania. I wanted to give us a background of some of what Lithuania was producing before we go further. The most recent exports are led by refined petroleum to the tune of 5.4 billion US dollars. Let me explain what that means to you. You, a Nigerian that doesn't understand. Àwa ní crude oil in large quantity. We had refineries that was deliberately allowed not to function. It's all the games. It's all the cabals from the west to the east to the insider and the outsider. Everybody knows the game. Make sure the refinery doesn't work. So how do you have the refined product, then petrol? Because you cannot just put crude oil inside your car. It will damage and knock the engine. It needs to be refined to some extent for you to use it, which is exactly what crude oil is doing with this. So each time you see me doing this, it's just to moisture my lips. This is coming from crude oil. But for 64 years, the giant of Africa sent crude oil to a 3.5 million population country. They will refine it in their own country, put their children that they've trained, have the same system that we could have set up in Ogun State to refine, but we move it in container ship, large ship. We then move it straight to thousands of miles away from the shore of that continent and leave to another continent, because Africa is one continent. Then it gets there, then they disembark it through a quick pumping machine or whatever they're using. It goes straight into their own system. They flush it, refine it, they put it back on the ship, then they bring it back. But we have to pay for that service, which is what Dangote is trying to chop money from now by setting up a refinery. That is what has been doing. That is what has been going on in this contraction for decades. Even the one that Tinubu just told us that they've done Port Harcourt, ask them if anything has come out of there. It's all lies. It is all a crippling game, like Dizzy Man said. They keep the spirit of Nigerians high, and then at some point they just bring it down. Imagine Yoruba people are now saying Buhari took away the love. Do you know what that means? Come on, Yoruba man sọ pé Buhari ti gbé love lọ. Buhari that was a monster. Maybe I should just remind you the very small one. Buhari that shut down Twitter for 6 months. Twitter that some of you were making money from. Yoruba people are now saying that Buhari took away the love. Ogbe love love. So we have been sending crude oil to Lithuania, Kobawa refined, and you are there that should have been trained from apprentice where you get paid to become fully ready to take the work, which is what UK has lacked for a very long time as well. They've not trained a lot of people in apprentice work. That is why they need us to come here and substitute those jobs. But those jobs are not for every single one of you. That is why you will not get a visa to this country. If you get it and get here, good luck to you. But one needy the best brain from the Africa and other countries láti substitute àwọn iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n lè ṣe. Oh yes, Yami Jayola sọ pé they refuse to open the eastern Nigerian border for offshore activities is a deliberate act. It's part of keeping that cabal system. And if you think that your Apapa port is controlled by Nigeria, you must be very stupid. It is controlled from outside Nigeria. I'm not responding to your questions because it's something taking us away from what we're discussing. I can read it, but I'll just ignore it. They're also very good in furniture. Lithuania made 2.24 billion US dollars by selling furniture. We love those furnitures, is it? Italian furnitures, Italian wares, Guinea Congas. But we have brilliant carpenters that we can train to the standard and produce for the local consumption and the export. And you are now expecting your shit own naira to grow when you are not exporting enough. You are not exporting enough. So how do you want to grow? You only grow when you export more than enough. You are not exporting enough and you expect to grow. You must be living in denial. It is time that we wake up from our slumber. Petroleum gas, we have them in Port Harcourt. We have them in the southwest in large quantity. What have we done with it? Do you know that these jobs that I've just mentioned, from the refined petroleum to furniture to petroleum gas, that could create jobs for many 60% of the youth that are unemployed in Nigeria today. And you don't need to ride Okada. People that will be riding Okada, even if we have to be using that for the mode of transportation, would not be Nigerians. How many people in Dubai that are citizens are driving cars as taxi driver? Do you know that they're foreigners? I've been there, even though it's been a while. We have to manage, because if not, the phone is coming to an end. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch things around. I'm going to bring this one down so that Malefi, yes, okay. At least she will charge there. So we're going to move this one down while we move you up so that we can use that. I need to buy another, but it's okay because this phone for the YouTube is still good. And that battery can last us another 2 hours. But this one, only tell me say it's going down. So I need to charge it quickly. I'm trying to find it. Okay, yeah. That's it. So if not, any league I don't program anymore and I'll Koikimedia to do. We're good to go now. Yeah. So you have come down a little bit. Yes. Maybe he's new to the platform and he wants to be wasting my time. I haven't got the time. You better listen, or you go back and watch all the questions you're asking. You go back to all my videos. You'll find them in there. And I'm not here to come and defend and talk about. I don't want anybody to burn my energy. I've been talking about how do we fix Nigeria? Who is going to be the Yoruba nation leader? All that is irrelevant. How do we mobilize? Part of how we're going to mobilize is what we're discussing. So listen. They also produce wheat to the tune of 1 mokia easy cabo sorieto. Wheat. Èèyàn mélòó ló mọ tán pè ní wheat? Mo kí Ọlánìpẹ̀kun plenty. Wheat is another food or grain that is used for so many things. Lithuania. Remember that Ogun State, Ọlánìpẹ̀kun gbọ́ bíbẹ̀ dáadáa, because he's in Ifo local government. Yeah, this is a live transmission. It's just 4 o'clock in the morning. There's no way you can be watching this if it's not live. It's a live transmission. I know I don't get paid enough for this job, but it's okay. If I was meant to go and work outside, at least I'll be getting, how many hours have I done now? I will have been paid the minimum wage of £11.44 per hour, at least. Basic job, not intelligent job, just basic cleaning, sweeping, kitchen porter. But at least I'm putting my own history laid down. So I'm happy for that. And that is something that nobody can take away, because future generation will remember every details of every single one of us, the role we play in bringing down Nigeria. And don't pray that Nigeria is not come down. It's going to come down through violence, anarchy, peace, one way or the other. Do you know that Lithuania also export cars? We have people in Ogun State. There's a guy in Ijebu, Muke Just Reason. Muke Awashadedo, Just _ Interiors. Mr. D doing 7. Bamdele Mohammed, good morning. And I guess we're at the same time with Nigeria now because it's 4 o'clock in the morning. How did we get to where Lithuania, a country of less than 3 million, 2.84 or 83 million? We've talked about their population. We've talked about their GDP. Their GDP is 70 billion US dollars. We've talked about their growth per capita. We've talked about their passport. Their passport is number 26 in the world, and it can take them to 150 countries around the world. Their current prime minister, she's a woman, and she's not up to 50 years old. She's 49 years old. She's 49, Larry Lincoln. Yeah, I think. She's 49, somewhere around there. Lithuania. Lithuania. Taba gbé Ogun State. Taba ju Lithuania sínú ẹ̀, ìlú méjì ló máa jáde. So, how have we got to where we are? It is what Britain created. I don't have any issues with the citizens, but I have issues with the system that created this mess on our behalf, which we are trying to rectify. Because báwo la ṣe máa ní Ogun State, which is 6.3 million people, then we have a country that would then be dictating to Ogun State because she's part of a European country, because individually, Lithuania would have meant nothing in the global community. But because they've joined on with the European Union, they become a bloc, which Nigeria is also part of the African Union. Who respect African Union among all these countries? They don't respect African Union because they know all your politicians are all corrupt. They know them. Even though they are corrupt as well. UK is corrupt, just like America is corrupt. America has the highest billionaire in the world. Next to it is UK. Next to that, India. Where did they make all this wealth from? From the slave trade. Over 500 years of slave trade. People were working and they were not being paid. Agun ala agun. We talked about this in one of our broadcasts few days ago, Leona of the King of Belgium killed 10 million Africans. That is like over, almost like 4 times Lithuania. One king killed 10 million Africans. And you are thinking that the same people, their mindset don't change to make it better. If that has been, let UK come out officially through the Westminster Parliament and declare the dissolution of Nigeria peacefully to start with. Anything less than that, they are not being fair and honest with us. The most common destination for export of Lithuania goes to Latvia. So that means Lithuania made 6.1 billion US dollars from Latvia alone. They made 3.9 billion US dollars from Poland. They made 3.5 billion US dollars from Germany. They made 2.8 billion dollars from Russia. And they also made 2.6 billion US dollars from America. Now, remember, I always open OEC, which you can also check, www.oec.world. And it gives us the breakdown more. In 2022, Nigeria sold export worth of 70 billion US dollars. Only one item gave us the large amount, which is the crude oil, at about 54 billion. And the same Lithuania, which I'm just opening right now, is coming up. Lithuania export in 2020. Let's get it right, 1 minute. In 2020, let's see if we can find the latest. Okay, 2020, Lashini. So they don't have up to 2022 like Nigeria. The export of Lithuania in 2020 was to the tune of 10 billion US dollars. Lithuania export 10.8 billion worth of services. The top services exported by Lithuania in 2020 were other transport to the tune of 7 billion. So that means they were producing enough cars to ship out. We have brains across the Yorubas that can be in the factory working, but I'm sorry, we are all in the church and the mosque shouting hallelujah because Anwa Igbala Afelosodo along, which is good. But we are failing the world that we are living today. They were also producing enough computer and information services to the tune of 956 million US dollars. Sea transport, 479 million US dollars. Personal travel, $458 million. So why have we, Yoruba people, not make it out? It's because we have been locked into a system that we were told that Nigeria became one of the leading producers and exporters of petroleum in the world, earning phenomenal revenue. Phenomenon. When I use the word phenomenon, we were making so much money from the crude oil that none of us should be suffering today. Every Nigerian should be given benefit to some extent. But for 63 years, we are still out there saving the lives of people at home. Not because they are lazy, like Buhari said they are, because Olori Burukuni Buhari is a bomb bastard, dead or alive, a sadist man that killed innocent people. That made Nigeria one of the world's richest country, that we were told that in the 70s, we didn't know what to do with our money. We started doing festivals. And I think that was how Festac 77 came up, when Obasanjo allowed the Europeans to steal the original artifact and give us fake, because we had too much money. We borrowed money to countries around the world. Record are there. And I guess it's raining outside. Ojobokun. But all together, with all these, you would think that in 6 decades, we will not be where we are today. Even if we are where we are today, in terms of good health, good opportunity, the Scottish are saying that they don't want to be part of UK anymore. They have every goddamn thing, from the basic amenities to the eye. And yet, one hour of by the UK more, even though their union came together in 1701. They have electricity, they have water, their educational system is different from England, where I live. Their healthcare system is different. Everything in Scotland is different because they have their own parliament that operates how they govern, which is what we negotiated in the Federation in 1958 coming up to 1960, when Britain created a proxy and allowed the North to win the election. Because the censor, we now understand, was rigged. So when you come after and say, INEC rig election, Britain has been rigging the election that happened at the beginning of the creation of independence in 1960. So you are now thinking that you are smart. You're going to use a PVC to remove whoever you want. It is not happening like that, because the West determine who becomes the next president of that shithole continent or that country. So to we are smart, we will mobilize and we will pull them out. You are joking. It will not happen. It's a deliberate act to keep Africa where it is today. And they know that Africa is the Yoruba people and the rest as well, without knocking them down. How can we be the leading producer and exporter? Do you know what I mean? A producer, we were refining our crude oil. Need to send the lossy any part of the world, as they were doing in the last bloody 20, 30 years, where they were using that as part of the corruption called oil subsidy. Mukinyi Alaja Okun Ekaboma. So you think Baba Akintoye is a stupid old man at 89. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Somebody that has been writing the history of the Yoruba people as far back as 1977. He has been putting a pen about who we are. Meloni Baba Tieshi. So you think that you are intelligent, that Baba Akintoye, you want to go and fix the economy of Nigeria. He was part of the Second Republic while they were working hard, thinking that they could bring Nigeria to the black part of the world that becomes the global shine. The North were all deceiving themselves. And we now know that Lugard, that could not find love in England, came to Africa to find love. And that is the love that he gave us today, that we cannot live together peacefully in one unity. Altogether, Nigeria seems to be heading to success, wealth, prosperity, and power. Nibolowa Leni. How can we still be having, all these slums in Lagos State? I know there's slums around the world. Unhappily, however, this is where we need to start understanding the game. Nigeria lacks the inner unity and strength needed for such greatness. Greatness in over continue to bá jẹ́ pé gbogbo wa dá wà lọ́tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀. tolúkálùkù rọra ń ṣe ìwọ̀nba tó lè ṣe. Yes, there will be people that will prosper in the day of Nigeria today, but millions will never prosper till they die. I'm sorry to say. And according to the World Health Organization, you are not going to survive your next 55-year birthday in Nigeria. But if you live in Japan, you are likely to live up to 85 years old, if not 90. It's not my wish, and I pray we all live long lives. But Tolulopa Rotile did not live up to 30 years old. Anyanwola Bamishe, she was not just killed, she was murdered, stripped naked, and her body was dumped in the Butemeta Bridge in Lagos. She still have a mother and father. Kobiomolaye. Pelumi was a young journalist that was killed during the EndSARS. How many do you want me to talk about? Jumoke Oyeleke was not part of the Yoruba Nation campaign, neither was she part of the rally until the police killed her in Ojota. And she was not even close to where the rally was. But the straight bullet was used to kill her. Do you want me to go further? Dr. Chinelo was killed. She was not 30 years old. She was part of those supporting the North as a medical doctor. She was just 72 hours to travel to Canada. She was killed, and the stupid Nigerians were even joking that how can she have been attacked on the train? That is the unity that we don't have because we are not one. Less than 72 hours, an aircraft that would have given us opportunity to travel direct to Nigeria has been turned into a game. Deborah was killed, lynched to death. She was pleading for her life, but because she was a Christian and the Muslim never liked her, she was killed. Do you want me to go on with those names? So we live in an unhappy country, even though we have been told and deceived that Nigerians are the most happiest people. Oh yes, there's a lot of people that do shit old things and do content that makes us laugh. I laugh as well, but that is not the reality of life. We have been fooled by the West for too long. And the reason all this was happening is because the hundreds of peoples of Nigeria were pushed together in 1914 by British. That is the beginning of the problem. Some don't want me to talk about that, but you want me to pick it up from when Agurusi destroyed Nigeria. What about what happened in 1914? Why did the British create Nigeria? For what purpose? At what benefit? What was the intention? Was it the right intention? Ṣèbẹ́yìn Mùsùlùmí náà lè máa ń sọ pé àníyàn ló ṣíwájú gbogbo nǹkan. Ṣé àníyàn tó dá ló fi ṣe Nàìjíríà? Because we know that they rigged the election without allowing Baba Awolowo to win that election in 1959. They created a false narrative and told us that the censors, the North, had the numbers. Is that not what they're not saying today? The North keep telling us that they have the numbers. Even though when we do a proper censor, you will realize that there's nobody in the North. So we must continue to remind many of you some of these. They knew that we were all different in culture. We have different political traditions. Our religion was very beautiful. Our Mobabalawo, our Onifa, until they brought their own Christianity and told us to throw away our tradition because we can find the real spiritual realm in Christian and Islam. I was born as a Muslim and I still practice it. But I take my Ifa more than any other religion. That is my own personal belief. Your belief might be different from mine. In my 40, I will not be deceived again that one religion will overshadow what was the true religion of our forefathers. Tó bá wù mí máa ṣoògùn, tó bá wù mí máa dífá, and that does not stop me from going to mosque. Until after the Second World War, that many of our forefathers fought on behalf of Britain. They were never paid. Many of them died lójú ogun. They never returned back home. Ẹlòmíì ò tẹ̀ mọ history bíi tí bàbá bàbá ẹ̀ wà, because they died during the war. The British did nothing to give Nigeria a unified existence. Kò ní dá fún bàbá ẹ̀ Dámiláre or whatever you have, ọmọ àlè, bomb bastard. Kò ní dá fún àwọn tó ní ọ̀ ní jèrè ẹ̀. Tó bá dẹ̀ jèrè ẹ̀, mọ́tò máa pa ẹ́ ni, bomb bastard. Idiots all over the place. You are saying Yoruba nation, you are speaking in English. Olóṣì. Àwọn bàbá ẹ̀ ò ní jèrè ẹ̀. Olórí burúkú ọmọ àlè. Ṣé bàbá ẹ̀ sanwó fún mi tí mo fi jókòó sí bíbá? Olóṣì. Bomb bastard. Many of them, Fulani ló bá ìyá yín sùn, ló dóyà yín, tó fi bí yín. Ọjọ́ iwájú will deal with every one of you. Let's first deal with the British that created the mess and put Fulani ahead of us. Bomb bastards. Until after the Second World War, the British did nothing to give Nigeria a unified existence, and Nigerians are looking for unified existence today. We are looking for love. Is that not what we're looking for? That is why we're trying to save Nigeria. Koiki, I know you are passionate about Yoruba nation, but let's first work together as if we are one. Lugard said, we create Nigeria. He could not find love. We gave you the history. Ìyàwó tó yẹ kó fẹ́, when he returned back from India to England, ó refused pé wọ́n fẹ́ mọ́. That is the reason why Lugard left for expedition to Africa. And it was not just West Africa, Lokokowa. It was in Mozambique. It was in East Africa until he came to West Africa under the Royal Niger Company. And one lost sponsor Lugard was in Nigeria. And it was when they created the Northern Region Protectorate. And in 1914, he realized that with anyone in North, they were not making any money. UK was losing money, which they were not ready to pump into the North. So Lugard thought the best idea is, if the South is making money, join these two countries together, or these two people together. That is what formed the nonsense amalgamation that we are talking about today. Then Olórí burúkú ọmọ Yorùbá kan sọ fẹ́ mi pé kémi keep quiet. We saved Nigeria. Lugard again read love. He could not find love in UK. And you are finding love for ourselves. How are you going to find that? How? Bomb bastards. British did nothing to give Nigeria a unified existence. When at the last they granted a unifying constitution in 1949-51, they were drafting our constitution on our behalf. I've talked about that before in some of my broadcasts. You can go and find it on YouTube. They did not allow the real owner of the country to draft the constitution. They were helping us to draft it, and they did probably not even invite some of those people during that time. And they're now the one that we are even using today. Who drafted the 1999 constitution? Was your parent involved in the consultation of the 1999 constitution? Because some of you now, you are too intelligent, over-intelligent. This man say, Ifa Oracle is the origin source of information. Parent ò jókòó nígbà tó ń draft the constitution 1999. Àwọn olórí burúkú military tí àwọn West ń bá ṣiṣẹ́ ní background. Oh, you don't know that? Did America not pay the price with General Dombozo that became one of those that were trained and overthrown the government? We've talked about it before on some of our programs. We forgot about the core value when they were asking the general, what do you mean by core value? Is your core value to train soldiers and they overthrown the government? So if you think that all the coups that happen in Nigeria, the West is not involved, you'll be living in denial. The West was fully involved. Instagram will go out and we come back out again because of the time frame they're giving us. So if you're one of those still having the faith that you will fix that country, you better start thinking otherwise. Nobody can fix Nigeria. Nigeria will go down, either by force or by fire. It will come down. It is just a matter of when and how soon. Nobody knows. But we pray it will not be long before we get ourselves free from the bondage and the shackles of Britain, most especially. It was the 1949, 50-51, the unifying constitution, and created under it a federation of 3 regions. There was nothing called 36 states. All that was part of the fraud that Babangida and the rest of them created for their own selfish interest. It was just 3 regions: Eastern, Northern, and the Western region. They boldly wrote conflict and instability into the life of those federations. Do you understand what that means? They wrote conflict and instability. Kí ló ń pè ní conflict? Ẹ máa jà, ẹ máa para yín ni. Ẹ ní rẹ́ láyé. Conflict. So from the day one, they put conflict in the federation. Go and practice federation, but give the North something better underneath. But don't let them say it. Just take it. You know, when you're doing, I remember when, we were in secondary school, if you're doing exam and you want to pass expo to somebody from under the table, you'll be looking like that. But you're doing the expo, you're passing it, that one will take it. Then I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about. If you want to share, to pass the expo, at the paper and buy. On the figure can be later Korea. Our Ramufu, you know, our Mujadi, our Madobe. And sometimes in don't double failure in good well. After to buy when you're good at that, because you could end up dubbing somebody during the exam and you could both fail. So British knew when they were putting conflict, instability into the life of Western region, Eastern region, and Northern region. And you are now thinking that there will not be people that want to overshadow each other. Because one montonshi, they were smart about that. And if you're looking for the people that are very, very cunning, people that live in UK know what I'm talking about. The English people are good at that. Tọ́ba sọ fún ẹ pé jókòó síbẹ̀ yẹn máa mu tíì lọ. Tó bá wò bí a tíì yẹn honey lọ́fíìsì àbí sugar. Torí there's 2 different things. Ọ̀tọ̀ ni honey, ọ̀tọ̀ ni sugar. Ó lè jẹ́ láti bí tíì yẹn ló máa gbà lọ. They're very, very cunning. It's the English people that will laugh at you like this. But in tó wà nínú ẹ̀ ó yàtọ̀. Not that some of them are not good. Go and ask Stephen Lawrence's family how 3 English men killed their son in 1993 through a racist attack. 1993, 5 years before I came to this country. And 21st century, in 2024, we all saw the video of a black young boy kissing the leg of a white young boy in this country. I pity a lot of the interns of Kadake, they were abroad. Àwọn ọmọ yẹn sunkún nílùú yìí tẹ́ bá jẹ́ ká tètè kúrò inú jágbàjàgbà tá wà so that káwọn ọmọ wa lè ní option láti lè lọlé lọ́jọ́ iwájú torí ìwà ti dàgbà àwọn ọmọ akọ̀dọ̀ ju ẹ sínú home ni. They will not want to take care of you. Your children will send you to the home, care home, where more Nigerians will be taking care of you. That is what's going to happen. But some of them will pour acid on your grave Because when we were shouting, you were one of those pointing finger to fix Nigeria. Your children will understand what I'm talking about. They might still be young, listening to Davido, Tiwa Savage, Burna Boy, going to their concert. But when the real issue is dealt with them in this country by the British League and all these people that are becoming very, very nasty to the black people in this country, you will then wake up. Ẹ máa sọ pé mo stupid. Àwọn ọmọ yín máa sọ fún yín pé you're not stupid. Ó kù díẹ̀. Ṣé àwọn ọmọ yín tẹ̀ ṣe nọ́ọ̀sì nínú ilé yẹn, they will become vampire more than me. It's just a matter of time. I'm sure each household knows what I'm talking about. And that replicates to America and the rest of Europe. Your children will point their hands on you. But nígbà tó ń pariwo freedom, níbo lẹ́yìn wà? Ibẹ̀ ń ṣe party kiri labroad ni. Ṣé máa sọ pé ẹ̀gbọ́n nígbà táwọn Yorùbá ń pariwo pọ́ fi kúrò? They will ask you. It's just a matter of time. They boldly wrote conflict and instability into the life of the Federation by disrespecting obvious ethnic boundaries. Everything must have a boundary. Why do you not come to this country and say, I own this country? Even if you were born here, they will trace you back to the roots, how you got here. Because boundaries must be respected. And I guess we should start winding down, is it? We've done 2 hours already. We can never complete it in one day. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. I hope you've enjoyed the late night conversation. Put the notification bell. I don't give time when I come out, but I will always be out because I am your last man standing. I will wake your brains to start thinking. That brain that has been dropped in the ocean, I will bring it back up. You can start asking questions, just as I'm asking them in this country. And like I always say, I am just playing my own part. And in the Jubenelo, Yoruba nation has come to stay. America cannot stop it. Bullet cannot stop it. Guns cannot stop it. You cannot kill anybody to stop this. Millions of Yoruba people, at least millions, are already ready. So how do you stop it? I am not Yoruba nation. Yoruba nation is bigger than me. I am just one out of the many Yoruba people that have said, enough is enough. We must be free from the bondage and the shackles of the colonials and the globalists. Shout out to my mom and my wives, my children, and to those that are very close. Oloye Igboho, I will stand shoulder to shoulder with you to the end. Baba Akintoye, I told you when I came home in 2021, you got a brain that is ready to fight along with you. Have a very good morning. Bye for now.